How much they ask? Here.
Not many people expect scenery like this in Africa. Even fewer people expect scenery like this in Ethiopia. Welcome to the Simien Mountains. At 14,000 feet, this is some of the most rugged and inhospitable terrain in Africa. And for me, these magical mountains have been home for the last 7 years. So I want to show you where I work every day. This is my office. The Simien Mountains of Ethiopia. Oh, Lamagaya. This is the best job in the world. But it's not the scenery that keeps me coming back. I'm a wildlife biologist, and the reason I'm here is to study the gelada baboon. And there's one family I'm particularly interested in. Samson's been a top male for over 3 years now. He has a family of 8 adult females who have chosen him as their family male. Being a family male in gelada society is stressful. On the one hand, Samson must make sure his females are happy, but on the other, he must deal with the constant threat of being unseated by rivals. As Samson slows down, other males will fight to steal his family from him, and the clock is ticking. I was stunned when I first came to Ethiopia 7 years ago. It's now the end of the wet season. It's lush and green. There are wildflowers everywhere. It's a fabulous place to do research, and tomorrow is when my real work begins. It's been months since I've seen Samson and his family, but I know where to find him. Samson spent the night in one of the most bizarre places you'll ever see a monkey sleep. Amazingly, gelada spent every night sleeping down on these sheer cliffs. This is the only place they feel safe from predators like leopards and hyenas that prowl the plateau at night. Such a spectacular landscape. These Simien Mountains are eroded into all these fantastic shapes, jagged peaks and spires and gorges. The reason why they look so different to other mountains is that whereas other mountains are built up, the Simiens have been created by erosion, they've been carved away. This was once one huge volcano. Then during the Ice Age, it was lashed by rain and hail and just carved into these fantastic shapes. It looks like a nightmare environment to live in, but it's exactly this kind of topography which is so crucial to the gelada's survival. These guys need to be master rock climbers. A fall from these cliffs would mean instant death. Can you believe it? In 7 years up here, I've never seen one fall. And here comes Samson and his family up for the morning. Never quite get my head around seeing monkeys in a setting like this. You come up to 10,000 feet in these cold mountains. It's all jagged and rocks. And here on an alpine meadow is hundreds of monkeys. It may look like just an ocean of monkey fur, but it's not. Gelada actually have one of the most complex social systems of any animal. And the basic building block of the Gelada society is the family unit. The family unit is made up of related females, mothers, sisters, grandma and aunties. So as a female Gelada, you get to grow up surrounded by your family. Everyone you interact with, you're related to. It makes for a very homey upbringing for a female Gelada. And because all the girls stay together in a family that's related, it's called a matriline. And each one of these family units is a single matriline. The most stable, peaceful families are the small ones of about 4 or 5 females. Once you start getting to a size of about 7 or 8, that's when it really gets hard to keep everybody happy. And here is a female who knows all too well how difficult it is to keep a big family together, Samantha. Samantha is the matriarch of Samson's huge family. She rules over 8 adult females and Samson. Samantha's an iron-fisted old battle axe. As head of the household, she runs a tight ship and will not tolerate dissent. It's the girls who choose males in this society, and heaven help Samson if he fails to satisfy them. They'll turf him out and get a new one, and there are plenty of eligible bachelors around here to choose from. And they don't come much more eligible than Chewbacca. He's grown to be the size of Samson and is now desperate to breed. He has his eye on Samson's family and watches him with envy. Capturing 8 adult females would be a fantastic coup for Chewbacca, and he knows Samson is finding it hard to keep up with the demands of his girls. If Samson loses their support, Chewbacca will make his move. You can see one of Samson's females flicking through his hair there, grooming, getting little ticks and bits of debris out of the hair. This is such an important part of Gelada social life. I can't tell you how important it is. This is what holds the society together. This is the glue, the grooming. So this first hour or 2 of the morning for Gelada is the most important social time. For humans, we might do chatting in the morning over breakfast, but for Gelada, it's all about the fingers in the fur. It's a tough job being head of the household, as Samson is finding out. Bachelors, unimpressed. Females, unimpressed. Australian judge, unimpressed. Not to mention you need to lose some weight. Yeah, I hope no one saw that too. After nearly 4 years, Samson's finding his family duties more difficult. After all, 12 is old for a Gelada, and he's slowing down. Chewbacca's a powerful 8-year-old bachelor. He needs to gain access to some females to breed. He has his eye on Samson's girls, and Samson knows it. Time is running out for Samson. One of my absolute favorite things about geladas is the noises that they make. They're the most vocal monkey in the world. Gelada have the exact same vocal frequency as humans. That's one reason why their vocalizations sound so vivid to us. It sounds like a crowd chattering behind you. This amazing array of contact calls, all these and mumbles and groans and squeaks. They just have dozens and dozens of different sounds. It's the only way that I can record them all is to get them on the computer like this. Humans can change the tone of the sound that they make as they're speaking, saying yes, yes, yes. It has so many different meanings, and gelada are the only other animal that shares this ability. When I lay out their sounds on the computer like this, you can see these curved lines. Very unusual in the animal kingdom. Humans and gelada are amongst the very few species that can modulate the tone of a word as we're speaking. Wonderful, isn't it? I wish I could make sounds like that. I love it. Uh-oh. Here comes Chewbacca with the Bachelor gang. He's been really psyched up for a takeover for some time. With all the families here, this could get really interesting. This is make or break time for Samson. He'll have to pull off a masterstroke if he's to keep his family. A crowd has gathered. Samson tries an eyebrow threat. That won't be enough to deter Chewbacca. This could get interesting. Chewbacca's circling near Samson's family, choosing his moment. In he goes! Everyone scatters. The crowd are on the edge of their seats. Samson's looking nervous, scratching himself. Loss of appetite, all signs of stress. The other males are gathering up their females, keeping them close, protecting them from Chewbacca. But Chewbacca's eye is elsewhere. He wants Samson's family. Chewbacca's primed. Here he goes. The final push for Samson's family. Samson runs. Chewbacca's after him. All Samson's females are watching. Oh, come on, Samson. This really could be his last chance to impress these girls. Come on, buddy, you can do it. Forget ritual, this is the real thing. I've been watching this challenge go on for days. Chewbacca's just been pounding and pounding Samson. He's just relentless, he really looks beat. Chewbacca drives him down the cliff and right on the edge of a half-kilometer drop. They almost went over. Samson has nowhere to run now. Chewbacca claiming this hillside, just driving Samson off the mountain. Chewbacca's done it. Samson tries to return to the family, but he's rejected. He's lost the support from all his females. And there it is, the crucial moment. The girls have all decided. They've chosen Chewbacca. Look at how they surround him. They're confronting Samson, sending him a clear signal. Samson has lost his family. He no longer has any mating rights with the females, but he'll still be a valued member of the family. With nothing else to worry about, his attention can now turn to spending more time protecting his youngsters. During his reign as family male, he successfully fathered many infants with the females in his harem. Gelada mums don't have many babies in a lifetime, so everyone is special. Mums put a lot of time and energy into their kids, nurturing them all the way to adulthood. Gelada babies grow up very slowly. They have a lot to learn about the Gelada social system. Who to play with? Who to avoid? When to be strong? When to back down? Who to trust? And when it's safe to practice moves that Mum does not want to see on a cliff edge. Samson and Samantha had a son who I named Bart. He's one of the boldest little guys up here. When the other infants run back to their parents, Bart will often stay out on his own. Just like his namesake, Bart is a complete mischievous brat. And he's a constant source of worry to his parents. He has no concept of the dangers that face a young gelada up here in the mountains. This could be a serious problem. These mountains are crawling with predators. Young gelada are a prime target, and without the protection of an adult would be snatched in an instant. Leopards can ambush in the forest. And as soon as night falls, hyenas sweep the plateau looking for prey. This is why the gelada spend every night sleeping on these sheer cliff faces. It is the only place that a hyena can't get to them. They're down there on their sleeping ledges, no wider than a monkey's bottom, just clinging on with their fingernails. Gelada have the shortest, strongest, fattest fingers in the monkey world. These guys are just built for rock climbing. Hyena must be a serious threat to gelada to drive them to sleep in such a precarious place. Predators are a force that shapes so much of gelada behavior. To defend themselves, gelada form huge groups. Usually these herds would be about 200 to 300, but sometimes they can come together and form groups as big as 800. These are the largest primate groups in the world. Samantha really likes having a large family. It gives her a lot more protection and a lot more power. It may look like there's food everywhere, but when you've got other families competing at the same time, you want to keep that sisterhood big. A neighboring family has made the mistake of encroaching on Samantha's patch of grass. Never get in the way of a mother trying to feed her family. This other family is going to learn the hard way. Do not mess with Samantha and her sisterhood. See the way the sisters all stick together? Eyebrow flashing, look at those eyebrows. Pink flashes everywhere, like headlights. The two families line up. And Samantha charges in, the backflip, and pins her down. Oh, nailed her. Wow. Look at that. Power in numbers. Samantha's big family were able to drive the other family off the best patch of grass. Clearly it pays for these sisters to stick together. And clearly, grass is something worth fighting over. Gelada are the only grass-eating monkey in the world. You won't see any other monkey doing this. Groups this large, just eating grass blades. Now, grass is a really tough diet to live off. So these guys have to shovel it in, up to 1 kilogram of grass per day. Gelada have the most dexterous fingers of any primate. And this enables Chewbacca to be a vegetarian pig. But he needs every bit of nutrients he can get to keep up with these girls. Whilst Chewbacca worries about his women, Samson has settled into his caretaker role well. See the way that Samson watches them. It's all he has to live for now. they're all mine. It's so sweet to see. It doesn't happen anywhere else in the animal kingdom that a male who had control of some females loses that power and yet is able to stay right in the family and still have a role. If it was another monkey or a lion, they'd be kicked out and usually die. But gelada are very unusual and the old guy's allowed to stay on. Bart has a strong attachment to Samson. It's not easy for a little guy to groom this much fur. It's like, Grandad, we'll get your slippers for you. For my research, I need to spend as much time with Bart and Samson as possible. This means long, cold days up here in the mountains. Hang on, this guy's seen something. He gives a call. He's alerting the group. Whoa. Check this out. Huge alarm call given off here by one of the young ones. The gelada have seen something 500 meters down in the gorge, but I can't see it. God, it just makes your heart pound. All of a sudden, it's just on. It was all chill for a second, and then yelp, and then man, they're all off to the edge. What is it, dudes? What is it? Eh? I can't see a thing. These guys in the corner have a better line of sight than me, but I mean, they could have seen a predator 500 meters down this escarpment, and I just don't know what they're looking at. So this alarm call serves two purposes. First of all, it alerts the entire gelada group that they've seen a predator. Everybody snaps into action. But of course, the other thing is that they're screaming at the predator. If this was a leopard down here trying to stalk in, you're going to give it up if you have 400 gelada just screaming your name. What is it? What can you guys see? Having seen the gelada react so violently to something that far away, it's made me wonder what the response would be if there was a predator close by. It's all very well acting tough on a cliff top, but how would they deal with a leopard in their face? I have to find a scientific way to test this. Debark is the nearest town to my camp. It takes a day to walk there. My old friend Teddy is going to build me a fake leopard. When I get back to camp, I will reveal it and see how deposed males like Samson will react when their family is faced with a predator up close. It's not every day the folks in Debark get to see a stuffed leopard getting made. We're attracting quite a crowd. Teddy isn't your average research assistant. This is his laboratory. This isn't your normal scientific equipment. There ain't no microscopes in here. I know, it's hard to believe. A leopard with 2-inch legs? Everybody in town is a scientist today. But I'm not sure, do leopards have green eyes? They've never seen anything like it. I'm not sure I have either. I think I'll call him Brian. I'm sure they're convinced that I'm a mad scientist. I know it doesn't look like science, but the fake leopard technique is widely used amongst researchers to test predator response. But what we don't know is how Gelada would react to a leopard on their doorstep. This is a way to find out. It's always nice to have some human interaction. But I'm anxious to get back to my buddies in the mountains. I never know what they've gotten up to when I'm not there. The trouble is, they move around so much, it may be hard for me to find them again. I finally found the group, and there's Samantha trying to wean a very smug-looking Bart. Up until now, he has been drinking her milk, a warm and nutritious meal in such freezing conditions. With a lifetime of grass eating ahead of him, it's not surprising Bart is fighting for that last bit of milk. Samantha is a strong mother, but Bart, being Bart, is throwing a weaning tantrum. Samantha wins this round, and Bart realizes that it's grass or nothing. This 4-year-old Gelada seems to have overdone it on the grass. You got the hiccups, buddy. Oh. Too much grass. I can preach to you guys about a balanced diet all I like, and I don't know, back to grass. Bart, as usual, is being a brat. He hates it when the new guy Chewbacca gets into bed with his mother. Bart doesn't bond with Chewbacca, and Chewbacca doesn't really like kids anyway. But the ever-loyal Samson always has his eye on the youngsters. What he's not prepared for is what this researcher has in store for him. And this is exciting. I'm going to introduce them to a new surprise. Meet Brian! This is Brian, the Trojan leopard. This is the perfect situation to test the Gelada's response to predators that are up close. Leopards can only ambush their prey when it is within 10 meters. That's known as their attack distance. Brian here is well within attacking range. So let's see what happens. Bit nervous about this. Brian, take your position. Look at the way these old guys come to the front. There's Samson. See that opposed males are the first ones to come forward and face the threat. Well, I now know that a leopard won't scare Gelada over the cliff. It terrifies them instantly, and there's that incredible scream, and they bolted a few meters. But after that, as soon as the old guys saw that it was a leopard, knew how big it was, knew that it was only one, then they just all turned on their heels to face it, just completely threatening the leopard. Look at them, they've formed a perfect circle around the leopard. The old guys know the attack distance, and they all bolted to exactly 10 meters to be out of range. The stimulus of the leopard skin is so strong that with just a tiny piece of Brian's tail, watch this. They must know that this leopard is not alive, but just the visual stimulus of the leopard skin can send them bananas. It's a basic instinct. I've never had so many dirty looks from my friends. Like, oi, Chadden, what you doing with the leopard? We thought yous was our friend. I think it's time to get this leopard out of here. Well, the 10-meter theory has been confirmed. It's so peaceful up here at night time, but it's also so lonely. Many people think I'm crazy for spending so long up here away from friends and family. I mean, there isn't any email or hot showers or sushi. But every night I go to bed thinking about Samson and Samantha and how they've entertained me that day. And I just so look forward to getting out there the next day and kind of catching up with their soap opera. They really become my friends and family for the time that I'm up here. But it's tough, you know. It's all about survival. The gelada out here are experts at recognizing 1,000 gelada faces, much better than I could ever do it. But the one face that these guys haven't seen is their own, and that's where this thing could be a lot of fun. Gelada really do have incredible eyesight. It's amazing how quickly they spotted that fake leopard, but they probably don't have any perception of themselves. I've never done any work on self-recognition, so let's see how sharp they are with the mirror. All these young guys are about 3 years of age, and they're really at their most curious. No surprise that cheeky Bart is up in front of the mirror. It's really funny, they eye threat, and the new guy eye threats. They reposition, the new guy repositions. Bart's saying, well, it's a new 3-year-old gelada, he must be fun to play with. But why doesn't he back down? I wonder if the most confusing thing about this new reflected gelada is that behind this new guy who you don't know are all your mates. It's like, well, I don't know this new punk down the front, but how come Barry's behind him? How come George is over there? You just don't get a new youngster in the group. Bart is totally confused by the fact that there is a brand new gelada in the middle of his group. He just doesn't know how to deal with it. Oh, have a go. He just threw a punch at the new guy. Boys and mirrors, I don't know. Terrible combination. There goes Samson. The last adult is leaving you guys. Well, these kids are now all on their own. The weather is really closing in. The adults have probably gone to the heather forest for shelter. The climate is so unpredictable at this altitude, and the mist can wipe out visibility in no time. And from this dense cloud comes some of the heaviest rain in Ethiopia. The gelada can only use large trees for shelter and are getting soaked. The temperature plummets, and they only have each other for warmth. Samson and the family are huddled as close as possible to keep dry. They don't look happy. Oh, I was really hoping that these rains would have finished by now. It's the end of the wet season, but I'm just sitting here in this terrible hail. Wow! Absolutely earth-shattering thunder. It's just impossible to work in these conditions. I don't know how the gelada do it. They have no protection at all. At least I got to camp safely. But mountain weather changes rapidly, and the torrential downpours never last long. This is one of the prettiest places that the gelada come down into, is the heather forest. Being the world's only grass-eating primate, they're always on the lookout for the lush grass. And down here in the shade of the forest, there's an abundance of it. These guys really are the cows of the monkey world. I love coming down to this heather forest. The gelada have taught me so much about the herbs down here. It's from watching them eat that I discovered a thyme for my pasta sauce and a peppermint for tea. And maybe I can be of use to them. The dense vegetation here is perfect for an ambush predator. It's a dangerous place for a gelada. Whilst the gelada help me with my herbs, I guess I'm at least one extra pair of eyes and ears on predator watch. You can see these families are bunched up, much tighter here when they're in the heather forest. It's exactly this kind of forest where a leopard has the best chance of ambushing them. They've got to look out for each other. Oh, see them flinch. The entire family just goes like that. Just the slightest little hint of somebody seeing something and everybody's eyes are up. I've only ever seen 2 leopards in my 7 years up here. They're incredibly elusive. Down here in the forest is a perfect place to ambush, because here a leopard can sneak up to within 10 meters. Remember, 10 meters is their attack distance. Bart is being his usual bratty self and screaming insults at old the gelada. From the safety of Samson's back, of course. When he grows up, he'll want to be head of his own family. So I guess he's thinking, why not start practicing your mean face? There goes Bart, off to play with his mates. What a brat pack. No wonder Samson can't keep up with them. Bart's favourite playground is in the trees. Gelada might be expert rock climbers, but boy, are they lousy tree climbers. Watch this, our master diver. forward 1.5 somersault in pike position, difficulty factor of 8.7. And action. Mental preparation at this stage. He's getting ready. He's on the edge of the diving platform. He's gonna do it. Go, go, go. Oh, yes! It's a 9 from the Australian judge. The evening comes quick up here, and the family units need to get back to the safety of the cliffs. But on my way back to camp, I've come across one gelada still up on the plateau. That's really unusual for this time of evening. Oh, Bart, poor little They give this really sad cry when they're lost. I can't help you, fella. I have no idea where they are. This is not a place that you want to be left up here alone. He just doesn't know the cliffs well enough, and without his family here, he'll never find his way down to the sleeping ledges. All night I've been thinking about Bart. Poor guy must have been so scared out there on his own. I really do hope he found his family before nightfall. The plateau is crawling with hyena. I hate to think what might have happened to him. Sometimes you wish you could help them, but I'm here as a biologist and you simply can't get involved. I'm going to spend the day looking for him. This looks bad. I've been with these guys all day. I can see Chewbacca, Samantha, and Samson, the whole family, but I've just not spotted Bart. What I can see is vultures. The only thing that brings this many birds of prey to the ground is something dead. Oh, I can see these vultures tugging on intestines. The only question is, whose intestines? When other vultures have finished, the lammergeier makes its entrance. This is one of the largest birds of prey in the world and one of the only birds that feeds on bones. They spend almost all their time soaring on thermal winds, rarely landing except to pick up a bone. Once back in the air, the lammergeier slowly dissolves his lunch in a stomach of strong acid. Across the gorge, I've spotted Samson. He's showing all the signs of anxiety. And there's not a single other gelada in sight. This is the first time in 7 years that I've seen Samson alone. After checking those bones, I have to conclude that that was Bart. He clearly couldn't get down to the cliffs before dark, and with dark came the hyenas. You know, I've seen so many gelada come and go that you'd think I'd be desensitized to it, but it's always sad, especially these little guys. It's such a dangerous place up here for a young gelada, and I think Bart's mischievousness has kind of got him into trouble for the last time. But I'm gonna miss the little guy. As for me, I have to go on with my research. Just like Samantha and Chewbacca have to go on with their family. Losing a youngster like Bart is a horrible blow to a gelada family, but Samantha still has the rest of her family to look after. It's never easy as a gelada mother. She'll put a lot of time and energy into these little ones. And they're surrounded by the relative safety of a bigger community. And that's why, in such an inhospitable landscape, the gelada thrives so well.